Yeah, so welcome. So just very super quickly, just wanted to talk about Amazon hosting, in particular EC2 or Elastic as it's known. And I think there's a preconception now that's deeply embedded in us that Amazon hosting is really complicated. And I'm here to prove to you that things have changed and it's definitely worth a go. So the first thing that you see once you log into Amazon, Amazon Web Services is now this page. And this is what's first of all really complicated. Where's the buy server, rent server button, right? So the language is all a bit muffed up here. So EC2, that's the place that you're going to go to grab your server. Route 52, all right, that's a quirky name. We sort of know what Route 53. We know what Route 53 is in America, but us in England, we've got no clue what 53 is symbolic to, unless we've traveled to the States. So actually this is where you're going to handle all your DNS, so all of your domain names and everything like this. So it's just a little bit of getting used to and just researching a few little bits and bobs here. But once you've got the basics down, if you just want to install a WordPress website or a Joomla website or a Magento website, I'm just going to fly through those scenarios very quickly because fundamentally there's only two sections that you need to use within Amazon Web Service control panel. Alright, so let's say you've created your account here. First thing you're going to do is just go straight into, sorry, not that one. You're going to go straight into EC2 and you're just going to choose Launch Instance. Alright, so now from here things have really changed and this is really fantastic. If we now go down to the AWS Marketplace, here's pre-configured servers. Pre-configured images. Okay, so it's Amazon images going in here. Amazon Marketplace images, AMIs. Okay, so now we can search for something very specific. Let's say we want to install Magento. So look at this. I highly recommend Bitnami. They're a great provider. So these are third-party companies that have packaged together. It's basically an image, so it's just like a server image, just as if you're going to back up your own hard drive at home or something like that. You create an image of the hard drive. This is pretty much images, like an ISO, for example. A lot of you will be familiar with ISOs, so think of it like that. It's pretty much a company have gone to the effort and time and energy of creating pre-configured servers for us, images, ISOs, whatever you want to call them. And so we can literally come in here, get very specific, look for Magento, or we can get a little bit broader and we can just start looking for LAMP stack environments. So LAMP stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, which is perfect. Is a perfect foundation if we want to then go off and install our own WordPress installation, Magento, Joomla, something like this. So this is pretty much bare bones server, but it's still got fully configured, fully up to date and maintained environment that we want to go and use. Maybe you've got your own custom app that you've been building, web application, something like this, and you just need that LAMP environment. So there we go. I've got LAMP there. You can see there's one specifically for WordPress here. And it goes on. You can get as specific, granular down, or as broad as you like if you want to do more for yourself. Let's just have a look more at the WordPress ones. Yeah, okay, so it's only listing 3 here that are specific, and there's 4, 5. You can look at this. So these are all pre-configured images ready for you to rock and roll, and some will be you have to pay for because of course don't forget Amazon works per the hour for everything. They're charging you by the hour. Some will be free to use, some of these images, and some other ones will cost you money. They're going to cost you X amount of dollars per hour to use that image, and usually they're very, very cheap. If you're just going to do something like WordPress, the chances are you're going to find one for free. In fact, I guarantee you will. We can see here all of these top ones are for free. If you want to install it on a really big complicated server and stuff like this, then sometimes the price bracket does change again. You can see here that it goes from $0 to $1.40. That's just for the software. You still don't have to pay for your server on top of that. That's just for your image, sorry. So in fact, I actually really just love using Bitnami's lamp stack here. This is really great for just starting place. M1 image, M1 large, sorry, and that's going to cost you between 100 and 150 bucks a month, something like that. So that's for a pretty big project, I would say. Pretty decent, fair-sized website, e-commerce shop, something like that. If you stick Magento down on an M1 large, that's going to serve you really, really well. I guarantee really top performance with that. M1 small is still fantastic. You see, do consider the network performance as well kicking in here. But really, I'm not going to talk too much about the servers there. Let's just say, I mean, you can even just grab a micro, right? So the micro instance, free tier. Now, I don't know anything about this, so I won't talk too much about it. You get 750 hours of micro instance each month. So that's actually the full month, right? So for the first 12 months, so how many days are there? How many hours are there? So 24 times 7 times 4. So we're actually talking at the full month, therefore, right? So that's fantastic. So that's actually completely free tier. That's going to be as good, if not better, than any shared hosting that you're going to be able to go get from any of the big hosting companies as well. You need to think you've now got a full server that you've got full access and control over. You would not have that with with a shared hoster. And so there's massive advantages. Plus, you're then in the Amazon world, so scaling and things like this in the future, you're starting with a rock solid, really great foundation. So next, you're just going to click through. You're just going to create. You can change and manipulate things if you want to, or you can leave it pretty much as default just to get you going. Now, it's not going to tell you the price, and this is still sucking a little bit. You really are going to have to figure out the pricing yourself. And just to confuse things just once more, you can also reserve instances. So this is the next important thing to realize about Amazon. This is the complicated thing. Instances, spots, and reserved instances. Spots are literally a temporary spot. So think of a spot on a table. It's going to get wiped up and cleaned up at some point, right? Spot requests are going to be cheaper, but they're temporary. You'll fill in the gaps between other customers, Amazon. Okay, so spot hosting is going to be much cheaper for you, but there's a high chance that they're going to come along and say, sorry, we've got to clean you up now. You're going to have to turn the server off. You're going to have to turn your instance off. It's going to get deleted and moved. Now, you can very easily deal with all your data in Amazon's world, very easily transport everything that you've created into another instance. That's the whole point of all of this. It's very, very quick and seamless to do that with all your data and all your setup, all your configuration, everything, because you can just create images. So just like we saw the marketplace AMIs, Amazon Marketplace instant images, we're just going to create an image of our server, and now we can copy that image to any other instance that we want. Yeah, so they're transportable very, very, very easily. That's what you need to think of here for retention purposes. But spots could disappear. You could lose it, but it's going to be cheap. So if you want to get something on the cheap, then that's a perfect option. Instances, the normal option, they will pretty much carry on running without interruption. But if you terminate the instance, then you'll lose all your data here. Okay, that's what you need to think about. And they still can request that you close down the instance. They can push you off an instance. So it's not reserved, it's not persistent. Whereas reserved instances are. And you have to reserve an instance for a set number of months, and then you just pay the monthly fee ongoing. And so that costs a bit more money, but actually, if you search around, let's have a quick look. I'll show you very quickly. If we go into reserved, purchase reserved, we're then going to jump into our different options here. So T1 Micro, we know that's pretty much on the free tier. Let's just have a quick search. So you're going to see. So for 12 months, so you have to pay $23 to them straight away, and then for 12 months, effective rate of 0.018 per hour. So let's just do our shitty bit of math very quickly. Let's just do it times 24 times 30 days. So you're talking about $12 a month, $13 a month, and you can reserve a micro server from these guys. Okay. Let's have a look at an M1 large. I've got several instances running M1 larges, and they are mega powerful. So now we're talking about 0.198 with an upfront fee. So they're going to charge you to reserve this now, $250 almost, yeah? Times 24, let's just do that. So we're talking about 140 here, $140 a month, and that is a kick-ass server. So if we were to go across to Rackspace, let's just have a quick look over here. The price for these guys, you're going to pay this. You're going to pay $550 upwards dollars a month for the same computing power, possibly actually more. You need to think that you can also be single tenant or full tenant here as well. So you can literally match Rackspace, but you are going to find it's going to be a lot cheaper. You're not going to have the support of Rackspace. You're on your own. But there's so many people on AWS now that the support from the community is now driving it forward. Okay. Alright, so once you've created your instance, it's going to pop up here and it's going to say whether it's running or not. And what you're going to do is, pretty much on all of those pre-configured images, you're now going to have to figure out how to actually connect to the server. And actually what you find is, once you've launched one of these, and if you then go to the public DNS of it, now I've scrapped mine already, but when I loaded this page now, this is like a private URL just for me to preview that server immediately, by the way, web-wise. This came up with a welcome page for me, okay, and it said like, welcome to the Bitnami LAMP server configuration, whatever, and it then had links to all the documentation, all the different pages on how to access the server, how to run it, how to do that. There is a web control panel, but primarily you want to try and learn and want to try and start getting into SSH, doing as much from there as possible. But there's a full web control panel. It's got PHP, MyAdmin, everything like this is rocking and rolling. So we've now done it. We've set up our server. It's running, right? I'm not going to talk through now installing WordPress or something like that. But the hardest thing that you're going to try and figure out first of all is how to connect via SSH. And often, excuse me, I'll give you a hint. Often in those AMI packages, if you right click and if you go to get system log, you're actually going to see that there's a default password actually shows up here. And here we go. Now, for me, that doesn't matter because mine's already changed, and I'll be rebooting this soon, so I don't care that you can see that. You won't have access. And so this is the default password for accessing the server if I'm not going to use the key, because you want to be trying to use the public and the private shared keys for the server and connecting SSH via that. That's my recommended method for doing this. Anyway, that's slightly more complex stuff. The point was, log into Amazon, create an instance, and it's not that complicated anymore. The only complicated bit is actually figuring out your costs. And you just have to go by that per hour, do your simple calculation, figure out what it's going to cost you per month if it's running 24 hours a day, which if it's like for a normal web project, it's going to be, if it's a website for instance. And that's it. Now it's running, it's live, you've literally got your folders and files that will be now sat on FTP, and simply you can now just start copying over WordPress, installing that, creating a database using PHP MyAdmin. Bang, you've now got your server up and running on these demo URLs. So here's your private URL for previewing the website until you then switch the domain across, which is the second part. So now we've got the instance done. we've installed WordPress, Magento, whatever it is, whatever your application is that you want to run on the website. Maybe it's just a static HTML site that you've created. Whatever it is, you've now uploaded the files and you're ready to rock and roll. So now the next thing is the domain name, and that's super simple. So all you're going to do is you're now going to come down to Route 53, and you're going to go into hosted zones. You're just going to create a hosted zone. You're going to bang in the domain name, and then you're going to go find the DNS for that, and it's going to delegate the DNSs for you. So as soon as you create a hosted zone, it's then going to delegate Amazon DNSs for you. You then just have to go to your registrar, which is going to be GoDaddy or whatever, domains.com, whatever the heck it is. Log in, update your DNS, use the delegated DNS, and bang, you're live. That's it. That's how simple Amazon hosting is now. Okay? So let's just recap once more. I'm sorry. You're just going to create your Amazon AWS account. You're going to go launch an instance. You're going to go create and configure your instance. And that's almost fun because you can go shop around. You can shop all the pre-configured AMIs, find one that suits your need. You can go very broad or very specific. Launch the instance, upload your data, maybe connect to your database if it's needed. And then you're just going to come back out. You're going to go into Route 53. You're going to create a hosted zone. It's going to tell you the DNS delegation. You're going to go to your registrar for your domain. You're going to update the DNS, and then bang, your website's going to be live, all within a few hours. Okay? And now you've got the full power of Amazon. Hopefully this is helpful. Any questions, comments? I know that's a bit long-winded. I do tend to rant, I'm sorry. But hopefully that's helpful to at least one person. So cheers.